Okay, so today has been absolutely insane. If you clicked on this video, I'm sure you already know at least an idea of what's been going on with FaZe Clan, but just in case you don't, I'm going to share this news and info with you guys. Seemingly out of the blue, FaZe Clan decided to drop, I think, roughly 75% of their roster. They're down to 15 content creators for like the typical FaZe Clan team. And no, I don't need to update you on FaZe Boost's status within FaZe Clan because he'll always be in FaZe. Faith up, bro. But that's mostly because FaZe Boost is just a split personality that randomly shows up whenever I want him to. But on a more serious note, I do feel really bad for anyone that was kicked from FaZe recently. It seems like it happened really abruptly, and you guys have to keep in mind too that, you know, some of the people that were kicked from FaZe, they have been dedicating a giant chunk of their lives to grinding towards this goal, the end goal of joining FaZe and being a part of that team. Now, aside from FaZe Boost, I'm sure you guys know, I'm not actually in FaZe Clan, which is why I wanted to share my perspective and kind of like share what I'm thinking about the team and the decisions that they're making, because I've been around since the start of FaZe. You guys already know I started playing Call of Duty with the original Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, and I watched FaZe when they first released the 1 million subscriber team Taj. Like, I watched before that, obviously, but I saw them from the beginning where they started out with Modern Warfare 2 trickshotting, and I know where they are now. And it just feels like, from my perspective, and I'm sure it's from your guys' perspective as well, at least if you are someone who's been watching FaZe for a long time, you're probably thinking, what is the future of FaZe? What are they going to do? Now, obviously, I can't answer that because I'm not in FaZe and I'm not FaZe management, but I am curious to know what is going to happen with FaZe, especially because they cut so much of their roster and they cut a lot of people who are specifically COD grinders, like people who have been working so hard at this and they're out here sniping, they're still hitting clips and stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Back around, I don't know if it was 2015 or 2016, it might have been 2016, but it was around like the hype of Black Ops 3 and stuff. I'm not going to get into too many specifics, but let's just say that around that time, FaZe Boost could have actually been a reality. I'm just going to say it like that. I don't want to like get too in depth with it, because if there's ever like a future opportunity or something like that, who knows? But I'm not going to lie, that's kind of why I wanted to make this video and sort of clear the air, because I just want to say, like, from a FaZe fan's perspective, I want to see the clan, I want to see the team succeed. And obviously the focus of this video is FaZe, but that kind of goes for any Call of Duty team, and I'll explain why in a sec. But at the same time, I think it is very important to recognize and understand that FaZe Clan hasn't really been FaZe Clan for quite a while. I'm sure a lot of you guys watching know that, and I'm sure the owners and stuff, like the people actually in FaZe, they know that too. It's just not the same, right? But the reality is that it's not really the fault of the players, it's not the fault of the organization. It actually has more to do with the game itself. If you're a true OG, like someone that actually regularly played Modern Warfare 2 back in the day when it was in its prime, you might have remembered that shortly after the release of Modern Warfare 2, when FaZe Clan really started blowing up and Modern Warfare 2 Search and Destroy trickshotting started to become such a popular thing, there were actually more people, more players online playing Search and Destroy than Team Deathmatch. And if you're a newer player, that might not mean as much, because they don't even show like online player counts nowadays, and they don't really show how many people are playing each game mode, which, again, stupid. But man, the reason why that was such a massive deal back then is because the majority of the COD player base played Team Deathmatch on a regular basis. And for the first time in history, more people were playing Search and Destroy on Modern Warfare 2 than they were playing Team Deathmatch. That's huge. And that was because of FaZe. That's because of the trickshotting scene and what it was back then. So the question now is, what happened to all that? I'm really gonna try not to ruffle too many feathers with what I'm about to say, but the truth is that trickshotting has been dead for quite some time. But at the same time, like, you can trickshot in any Call of Duty game, and you can trickshot in other video games as well. But the reality is that trickshotting has not been as fun and viable as it used to be back then. Some of the best games to trickshot in were the original Modern Warfare 2. We had one-man army. You could switch from one class to the next. You could switch from a quickscoping class to a trickshotting class, or even switch from a ray gun class into a trickshotting class. So it was like a lot easier to really go for those trick shots around that time. We also had unique animations that, you know, like the tack knife flip, the SPAS 12 and all that stuff. There were in-game mechanics and things that we haven't been able to do for probably over a decade now that existed in these older games that you just can't do. I hate to say it, but the truth of the matter is that the devs and, you know, everyone that worked on Call of Duty, they just didn't embrace the trickshotting culture anyway. A massive part of what made trickshotting what it was and what made it so cool was unintentional. And don't get me wrong, it would have been amazing if they could have somehow kept some of these unique elements in the game still, but the games have just strayed further and further away from what was allowed, like, or really what the potential was back then. You can pretty much almost pinpoint the day that trickshotting died, and that was really with the release of Call of Duty Ghosts, which is why a lot of people do still have negative opinions about Ghost, because on the multiplayer side of things, especially, you know, if you're a sniper or a trick shotter, Ghost was not great. And I'm pretty sure it had to do with the fact that the snipers didn't even have like hipfire crosshairs. So if you were firing a shot, it could pretty much go anywhere on your screen. It was just terribly inaccurate. It was really bad for trick shotting. And since then, there have been some games where it's like a little bit better to trick shot in, but by and large, trick shotting has just not been the same roughly since Black Ops 2. And that is a very, very long time to go without having a proper game for your niche, for what you do. And in fairness, that's what's very different about FaZe nowadays. I mean, like back in the day, you basically had one of two options as a COD player if you wanted to get into a team. You'd either be someone who's going for feeds and quick scoping and stuff, or you'd be going for trick shots. You could try to do both, but most people tried to specialize in one thing or the other. But things also changed pretty drastically when they started to bring on people for their personalities and stuff like that as well, which obviously there's nothing wrong with that. You want to have a good personality. But at the same time, FaZe has also moved in a lot of other directions. You know, they did a lot of Fortnite stuff. They also have their pro teams as well. And I think they're doing like either some crypto stuff. I'm really not into that stuff, so I can't really, you know, like speak on that. But the main point is that FaZe as a team is going to continue to grow and evolve in different ways. And it makes things very uncertain though, because I feel like there are a lot of people, myself included, who want to see FaZe be an integral part of the Call of Duty scene, the COD community again. Things can kind of get muddy when people share their takes, because I feel like there are people who basically say like COD is dead now, right? But then there's also a crowd of people that say, well, we miss the old FaZe. We want to see those old days come back. I don't know if they're part of the same camp or not, but you can't really be saying COD is dead and then also saying that you want the old COD scene back, because those are conflicting interests. And the point that I'm trying to make with this video is that FaZe has always and will always be an integral part of the Call of Duty scene, but they also should probably take more of a part in what's going on with COD. As I'm sitting here and I'm just trying to process my thoughts, ultimately, I don't want to keep like beating around the bush. I just want to get to the main point, which is really to say that I think from my perspective and from a lot of FaZe fans' perspectives as well, we want to see the team succeed. We want to see them thrive. And obviously for them, that can mean going in different directions and doing different things. And I understand that that might be what they have to do. And look, man, Call of Duty is clearly not going anywhere. The games have still been very successful, even if we don't completely agree with, you know, whether or not they are good or bad. I think at this point, what I would like to see from FaZe is I would like to see them be a little bit more active in the COD scene and become that team that everyone dreams to join. And look, man, even if FaZe doesn't want to move towards trickshotting, sniping in Call of Duty has still consistently been pretty good from game to game. You know, obviously there's some games where sniping isn't as much fun, but even as recently as Modern Warfare 3, it seems like they are finally understanding that making sniping fun and casual and enjoyable to do in a Call of Duty game is a necessary staple foundation for the games to succeed. And man, another thing I'm going to say about the FaZe roster, you know, the people who are still on the team and the people that got dropped, all of these people, I'm sure they're going to be fine regardless of what they do. Regardless of whether you're in FaZe or not, as long as you keep grinding and keep working hard, all of these people will be fine. But dude, as someone that's been watching FaZe for so long and I've been following so many different members and stuff like that, it's just like everyone is so cool, and I'm just kind of shocked to see that they can't come together and, you know, really revive FaZe and really bring them back to Call of Duty. But at the same time, I think it's safe to assume that the situation, everything going on with the team behind the scenes is way more complicated than any of us probably understand. It's just weird, man. Like, I'm not exactly sure what they would be waiting for when it comes to like FaZe's return to Call of Duty. I don't know if they're waiting for like the right game or if they're waiting for the right players to kind of come by and then, you know, pick them up and then be able to do something special. But I don't know, man. I don't think Call of Duty is necessarily ever really going to get back to like, you know, those early days, the golden era from like COD 4 to Black Ops 2. I don't really see that necessarily happening. I don't see like that style of COD coming back anytime soon. So if they want to try to really revive FaZe or bring it back, they kind of do need to do something new. But me personally, I'd like to see them still incorporate Call of Duty to some capacity because they really had a profound impact and effect on the community. And look, man, if anyone from FaZe is watching this video, we want to see you guys succeed. We want to see you come back to Call of Duty. That's like the whole point of this video. And dude, trust me, I've been playing COD since COD 4. I've played every game up until Modern Warfare 3. We've had some serious stinkers, right? We had COD Ghosts. We had Infinite Warfare, although, you know, retroactively, it is actually kind of fun to play here and there. We had Vanguard, dude. We've had some really bad Call of Duty games, but I think that's also just how it's been for the COD community as well, is that we kind of just keep going. We push through it. We keep grinding. We keep doing our thing. And really the only reason why we do this, why we still play the games, even if they're not necessarily the best, and why we keep pushing through it, is because we love Call of Duty, because we love the community. And no matter what happens with the franchise or what happens with the community, we want to see it get better. We want to see it continue to succeed and thrive because we love it. And regardless of whatever kind of changes happen with, you know, FaZe Clan as a team, or even, you know, the games themselves, how Call of Duty changes over the years, really the most important thing that any of us can do is just don't give up. You guys already know I follow a lot of the guys in FaZe. I've been following the team for so long now. With all the stuff that happened recently, I mean, Banks just got FaZe Clan back, so there's going to be a lot of time, I'm sure, that's going to pass before things really gets to where they should be or where they want it to go. But yeah, man, I don't want to be going in circles with everything I'm talking about. I think you guys get the point. I just really don't want people to potentially forget the impact and the importance and really the legacy that FaZe Clan has left on Call of Duty and the COD community itself. I do think regardless of people getting kicked from FaZe, I'm sure these people will still be able to do fine, you know, whether they decide to go the solo content creation route or if they maybe join another team or something. And who knows? I mean, maybe joining FaZe is something that could be a possibility for any of these people going forward. But that's the thing, man. We just don't necessarily know what the future of FaZe is going to be. So I really do hope that, like, behind the scenes, they have a plan. Like, they're working hard on trying to figure out something. And I do hope that it includes Call of Duty. Because for so many of us, myself included, trying to get into FaZe, grinding and working hard, hitting the best clips you possibly can, and joining the literal dream team of Call of Duty. It was the best. It was the pinnacle. It's what everyone wanted to do back then. And I really think that they can get that back. But obviously, they have to have a plan. They have to work hard at it. But yeah, man, that's enough rambling and yapping from FaZe Booth. That's gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. It's just way too late right now. I wanted to share my thoughts and opinions on all this stuff with you guys. And yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video and you want to see FaZe Clan return to Call of Duty at some point, make sure to drop a like. I'll see you guys later.
Outcome, Triangle.